Just going live. You're live. Okay.
Okay.
That's the second button.
Yeah.
Let's start number 2. Sorry for the delay. There was a button that needed to be pushed.
I see it now.
All right. Where do we call it?
Oh, I got it.
Can I close the meeting in? Welcome again to the July planning meeting for Anime Detour 2025 Spies and Syndicates. I am the Anime Detour chairman, JC Horvath. Next to
I'm the assistant chairman, Mike Maketa.
not deputy anymore.
We'll see what next month brings. We might change it again.
So saying thank you to everybody who is here in person. Thank you to everybody here who is here online or watching the VOD later. Not going to have as fancy a show this month. Not going to have a presentation. Fewer things to go through as we sort of settle into the period where the cycle's really going to ramp up. But I do still have a list of items to cover. Niketa can jump in, and if there is anybody else here in this room that does have any announcements of any kind, just throw a hand up at some point when it seems like reasonable, and we will let you talk for yourself. So I think the main things that we have been doing in the last month are trying to get more people into leadership positions. I think people know there are a number of open positions, but we did receive nearly 20 applications. Nearly 20 different people did apply. Those are very encouraging numbers. I think we are going to absolutely fill in all the gaps that we have. We are good. We are going to put on convention in.
We were getting some applications for positions we had not even announced a closing date for. So for a few of those positions, such as the registration head and what was the other one we set this?
Programming.
Well, when we had set the date for August.
We didn't originally set that one for.
Yeah, that's what that we had its end dates to. Yeah, so programming and registration, we did get applications for. So we do have an end date that was not previously there for them. If you do want to apply for them, you still have about a week to do so. It's August 4th closing the date on those now. So by all means, still get in that application. We love seeing all the applications we've been getting so far, even if it means our schedule's been nothing but interviews for like the last week and the next couple weeks yet.
So yes, interviews are ongoing. We will announce some of the positions as we go. Do refer to that organization chart. That should be a link in emails pretty much everybody has gotten for all open positions, because we still haven't talked about all of them directly. There are up-to-date closing dates on all of those. A few positions did close July 21st, and several more are closing August 4th, which I think is next Sunday. So don't dally. If you or somebody you know wants to get in, please do. And I think I put it in my last email, but if you're in the fence, apply anyway. Talk to us, do the interview, see what you feel like after that, and we can keep working. If you're seeking a go-ahead or additional support of some kind, we can try to meet you there.
And even if you apply for one position and it's something we don't think you might necessarily be a fit for, we might know a different position that you will be a great fit for. So never hurts to apply. You'll sit down and talk with us, and we'll find a place that we can use you.
Yeah. We do have some announcements to make. We did put an email out already, but Chelsea, better known as Buttons Leeser, is now a vice chair on the chair team with Niketa and I, so we are 3 strong.
We're still looking for more. We are still conducting interviews, but if there's anybody who wants to apply for a vice chair, by all means do so. That one does not have a closing date on it, just because we do want to make sure we are choosing the best candidates for it. So we're not going to try and rush closing that one. We will just slowly build up the team over the course of the year for that one.
And we're kind of keeping it open to see who we have before we even decide sort of, yes, we've got the team we want. So that one will remain open until further notice. In addition, we do also have a head of IT, Charles Kirsch. He is also not here to say hi to you in person.
It's at a LAN party for some reason.
Nerd. But he is very much the kind of person we want in charge of IT. Very extensive experience in the industry, and very good attitude as well towards how we're going to be doing a lot of things going forward. I think he is going to be more reliable, and we're going to have a website that's going to have accurate information on it. That's going to happen. There is some discussion about trying to make the website easier to edit for department heads directly, so you're not always having to say, hey, someone else, please make this change for me. Something like a WordPress, we're still ironing out the details. Something where you can submit your own changes. That'll go to IT. They'll say, yep, that looks good. It didn't break the formatting, and make it go live. So more details on that as we go. But again, sort of part of my general, I think, idea of getting more things directly to you to get your hands on and make sure they're right. A bit to that end, the Discord has been reorganized. A few more things are happening on that too. So we do have the help wanted page up. I don't think that one's gone wild quite yet, but it's July.
Brainstorming is the one that's taking everybody's attention.
Yeah. I was extremely happy that brainstorming got as active as it did. We are still looking for a guest's head. We have not had anybody apply for that yet. But Buttons does have a lot of contacts in that area. So she is kind of getting on that for the convention for the moment. Dropped a conversation on the Discord, and many people gave great ideas. So thank you so much. We are moving forward on that now. Thanks to everybody's help on the Discord. So I think that is working. The department channels are likely to disappear. That is the sort of broad-facing staff Discord channels for each department. I do not like those. I think they just create a second place that you have to check to see if anybody's trying to contact you. Before the convention especially, email should be the way. If you're reaching out to a department and you need them to respond, use the email. Preferably the listserv emails. If you know them as AD underscore the department, those still work. They all also have versions now that don't require the AD underscore, and you can just type in programming and animator or say operates and animator. I actually don't know what that one is.
I think we have both operations and safety.
Cool.
Might have ops. Yeah.
This is why we were trying to trim some of those emails and communication routes down. I know the Discord channels weren't getting heavily used, which also makes it worse because then the one time somebody goes in there and asks a question, nobody's paying attention to it. So
yeah, so a lot of those were pretty unused as well. The plan with them is to move them into an archive, leave that there for, I don't know, a couple of months, make sure that if anybody thinks they need to get anything from there, you have plenty of time to do it. I will put it forth another warning before I delete them. Sometime toward the end of the year, they will just get deleted because I don't think they're useful. I did put an email out to the department head email chain as well, making sure that nobody had a problem with that. And gave them a week from the beginning of this week, so I won't do it until that week expires, but so far nobody has told me that I'm doing the wrong thing. I was hoping, I teased this a little bit a month ago, that we would be able to tell you about more space outside of the Regency. I still cannot tell you that. But it is closer than it was a month ago to being something that I can tell you about. We have been working on it. We might wind up spending more than I want to, but turns out I can't magically create new space within the Regency, so yeah. We'll do what we need to do.
that way, we can get some 2x4s and nails for a lot less than they want to charge us.
So look forward to that soon. The next thing that will happen that I think will be more on people's minds and something that will maybe get people going a little bit is starting to talk about who has what rooms for Detour 2025. I will be doing that in 2 phases. It will be on the global calendar, more on the global calendar later. I will have sort of 2 phases. So I'm going to put out sort of a deadline for a draft of the room set. And then let you know what that is long enough ahead of time that you can email me or talk to me or something like that and tell me changes that you want for your department as far as where your room is, or if you just want to tell me it's perfect as it is, don't you dare touch it. It's also a good email to send me. Make sure that I know what you want. I will put then a draft of how we intend to use all the spaces out, and then we will have another period where people will go, why on earth did you do that in the draft? You're wrong, you're stupid, you're ruining everything. And we will have another cycle where I can go around and talk to anybody who I'm going to change from the draft based on what somebody else wanted to change. You understand. Before we have a final announcement of that, but I want to get that down, like October, November. So that's a thing that you will know as you go into the later stages of your planning. And we now have fun.
Where will I do that? Either side.
But yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, actually,
see if you want to see.
Unless you want to be in front of the table. But
I did already announce you. I did already talk about the fact that you're helping out on guests and that the Discord brainstorming was helpful for you.
Yes.
Anything you want to say?
hot outside. Yeah.
Side traffic sucks.
You are wearing your trademark hat.
Yes.
Everyone who knows.
If you didn't know who I was, now you know.
So I will also, given that I am going to be putting something pretty important on the global calendar fairly shortly, look for an email soon about a training for the global calendar. It does seem that that makes more sense to have a dedicated training time to go through that than try to do it at one of these meetings, among many other things. So sometime in August, I'll figure it out with an email. Probably 2 or 3 of them, because presumably not everybody can make it to one. I did put out the staff housing questionnaire, also known as free hotel rooms for staff. At the last meeting, I did get quite a number of responses to that and wanted to kind of recap what those looked like and what I'm trying to do about it. So most people did say that that was a very important staff benefit to them, that the housing was a big deal and they would not want to lose that program. That was not my intention anyway, but
Yep. It's more we're just trying to figure out how to apply it to people and who needs it and how to get it organized properly. We're never going to take it away from people.
Exactly. So yeah, most of the comments were positive. Most of them were, this worked well and I like it. We'll spend more time on the negative comments. Most of the concerns or all of these things were things that multiple people said. So several people commented that communication about the rooms, confirmation, feeling confident that they were going to show up and have a hotel room, has had some issues in the past. So we will definitely look to make sure that that is not the feeling this time around. You will know you have a room, and to whatever degree that we are paying for it, you will know that well ahead of time. Random roommates, there were definitely some concerns about. Some people had good experiences and said, I met new friends, and some people said, this was not good and gave me anxiety and I don't like it. So something that I hope to be able to address with the new approach. Several people either did not take the benefit or did not like working around not being able to have non-staff members in their rooms. That was definitely a regular comment. And then there were a couple of comments that were about it's usually pretty easy to work with the Hyatt to get the floor you want, but there was no obvious way to do that when it went through the free staff rooms. So that's also something that I will try to incorporate. I do have an idea about how I want to do it. I don't want to go through all the details of that because partly I want to make this something more people can use, which also means it's more expensive, which means I need to look at the whole budget and make sure it fits in there.
Questions. Since I'm back on staff, I would not suggest anyone trying to have room. But if I still want to staff, which I pay new price for, or it's just me, is that still a program?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
this is a separate program.
Staff blocks aren't going on. So for anyone who could not hear, it was just asked if you still wanted to pay for your own room, but still have within the staff block, is that going to be an option? Yes. Staff block is not going away. We do know some people like the ability to control who rooms with them, how many people, completely valid. So you will still have that option.
Yeah. So yeah, this will be on top of the access to the staff room block will be, again, whatever we are able to pay for of that room as well. I already kind of said that. And speaking of budgeting, we are reaching that time of the year, everybody's favorite time, budgeting. I know some departments are pretty ready and raring to go. If you are and you want your last year's budget proposal, if you don't have that yourselves, you can email chairman right now. We will get yours to you right away. But I think we're about to start the cycle, and we will send them all out when we kind of enter that more thoroughly.
So if we would have budget items that might depend on expansion of space, should we go ahead and include those as we write our budget, assuming that that will happen?
Yeah, the question was, in the budgeting process, if you suspect your department may have more space than you have previously, should you include that in your budget? I would say yes. Maybe put a note on it that it relates to having more space, but
Hey, just as a general follow-up to that note, me personally, I do want to see a lot more line items on the budgets compared to what I know we've used way in the past. Sometimes people would lump a lot of things together. The more details we have in the budget, the easier it is for us to then approve and modify them. If you put just general office supplies as the example, we don't know what you're actually using that for.
Because if you need pens, we have so many at the locker.
So many things.
pens.
So, so if you put on your budget that you need such and such in relation to a space, we'll know then if we need extended budget. So, and the details of the budget, the better it lets us do.
Gets into radio equipment, where if we expand our space, we may need some additional equipment to be able to radio to that space.
And you can always
Same.
put on there that if it's for the space expansion, it's dependent upon that.
Perfect.
so yeah, operations mentioned there may be need for more radios if we are in more spaces. And then I apologize to everybody online because you did not see the show that Tabby just put on of explaining how many pens we have and,
Big a box of pens. I promise you, we have pens.
and their method of distribution.
Make it great.
In 2025, apartment is going to be filled with office supplies.
I'm just gonna put a gift basket for our partner cons, and it's just gonna be pens.
All department heads, any office supplies on your budget are probably not getting approved this year.
We probably already have
We can deal with those details as we go. One broad idea that I do want to put out there as well, and again, we're just getting to the start of this. You'll get more emails before we get figure any of this out. I knew some of the departments have things within their budgets that are really con wide. And essentially, what I want to happen is this: if you make decisions about where the money goes, then it's part of your budget. If you don't, because it's something that is the whole con and essentially the chair team is making the decision about where that money goes, I'm going to pull it out of your budget and have that as a separate item for the convention, but it's going to be under your department.
The standard example for this is for a long time, storage locker was actually under the tech budget for reasons. It doesn't really belong under the tech budget. So it's stuff like that we want to get out of individual departments getting assigned to.
And like the cost of the hotel was under facilities, and it's like, why is that within facilities?
Yeah.
Things like that.
Look, to that end, if we have a department with a charge that we think should belong to the chair, the general con, rather than our department, I'm presuming you would want us to use email to make you aware of that.
Yes, please let us know.
So the question was, if the department has a charge they think should be at the general convention, should they let the chairman team know by email? And yes,
Yeah.
if you've got something you don't think should be under your budget, by all means reach out to us so we can make sure we can pull it out if we agree.
And I think the usual proposal process is that you list what you were approved for last year, if possible, what you actually spent last year, and then what you're asking for this year. So that's a really easy place to say, well, this was in our budget last year, but I didn't think it should be, and you should work out fine.
Is there somebody that they can go to, or are you as the team going to support them in understanding how to do the budget?
Yes. So the questions in relation to new heads coming in, is there going to be somebody who can give them support? And yes, by all means, for any heads, new or old, if you've got questions about your budget, reach out to us here, or the treasurer's Sky, who is looking to step down, which we'll get an announcement on that here shortly.
But I think after this budget
Yeah.
approval cycle.
Yeah, so
All of us have made budgets before.
and we can provide any advice we can give with any questions about our help with budgets.
Well, the second full part of that is, would there be an opportunity, if not set up by you guys, then generally a conversation amongst the staff where maybe those department heads come together and work on budgeting together? That they have those conversations as well.
So
So there is that cross communication piece.
yeah, the question is, would there be an opportunity to kind of come together and have multiple department heads work on them together? I think that's a great idea. I think having a workshop of some
I want to implement that, because I also staff for NebraskaCon and I've seen in their space and I really want to bring this over to Detour, is they have every other week they've picked Tuesdays and Thursdays that works for them. We could obviously pick different days, but they have just work hours where you can go in and it's on their Discord channel. You can brainstorm, you can even just be there to be a sounding board and you just work on convention stuff, whether it be emails, your budget, what have you. And it's just that time where you know you will have that space
just
where
study
you can
hall.
go in. Yeah, it's like a study wall, and I just love it.
That's not a bad idea.
And if the heads want to do that and they want to find a library, we can set up a library room for you. There's a number of libraries around the cities here. They're really easy to get rooms for. We can arrange that for people if they want it.
Yeah, no, that sounds like an excellent idea. I think we should do that.
Is there anything from the online questions, or has it been quiet? Okay, be quiet. All right.
Does ATC have any announcements?
Same announcements as last time. We have Con coming up next month and Hovan Festival. There are open positions for coordinators for Anime Twin Cities. I would love a communications person to take over social media and write a newsletter maybe every other month. We also are looking for the special events coordinator to be able to head up planning for the special events like ToshoCon and Oban Festival, and then also going to the conventions like Kitsune Con last weekend, and then we've got Anime Fargo coming up in September that I'm really hoping I have a team for. Fingers crossed. I'm waiting. Told them that we have till the end of July to decide, so we'll find out. And we're working on a new banner that we're hopefully going to have completed for Anime Twin Cities in time for Oban Festival. So very excited.
And I think Kitsune was successful too. We picked up some marketing people.
Yes, we had marketing people, social media people like apply for staff. We have I think a couple of tech or ops people that applied for staff as well from Kitsune. So doing really good like cross
I can also
pollinating.
absolutely
Yeah.
be there as a support if you need it. I used to do all the going to the other conventions. So if you are like, that's a lot, I promise you, I will help you.
Yeah, we won't like just hire you and then make you do it all yourself. You just want,
Right.
I just want to not do it completely either. So and be president.
It's
and
not.
all of the
I
other
promise
stuff.
our partner cons aren't scary. They're very nice. So like I can transition you into that part of it.
And just to piggyback a little bit on what you mentioned there about the newsletter, me and Christine had actually had a meeting with JASM just the other week too about expanding our partnership with them. And for the moment, JASM has offered us to let us piggyback on their newsletter. So JASM is the Japanese American Society of Minnesota. So they're kind of a cultural organization for Japanese people who've moved to Minnesota, or specifically the way she put it, the spouses of Japanese people who moved to Minnesota who have nothing to do while they're sitting around all day and don't speak English. So they do craft stuff together. But they're the ones who put on Oban and a number of other festivals and events around town. They do have a Japanese quiz they're going to be doing in February. But they've also had tables at Detour for many years now. They put out, it's at least a monthly newsletter. Sometimes I think it's more like weekly with the emails they send me. But if we could get a newsletter together, they will put it on their stuff. So we can kind of piggyback to try and promote our stuff on JASM, and while we promote JASM stuff on our sites. That's why we need the social communications coordinator.
They presumably already have a list, so we don't have to start our own from scratch, which is nice.
Yeah.
Any other of the lovely people that are here that have any other comments, any announcements? I didn't get
questions in
any
chat.
department announcements ahead of time, but I figured if anybody is here with announcements, yeah, come on up. Who are you, stranger?
Hi, my name is Jessie Silver. I am currently acting as a representative of our programming department at Anime Detour. We held our first department meeting of the cycle last evening, so not really enough turnaround time to email stuff in. But just wanted to mention a few things. First of all, I'm glad we're talking about budgets because I have to get last year's budget stuff from JC. We're married and live in the same house, so should be easy. Hasn't happened yet, but definitely on my radar already. So I'm sure I will be getting that as soon as possible.
I think that was a hint, JC.
There's a bright green flash drive.
Just so kind of coming stuff on our task list is to review our programming submission form. We're pretty positive it's in pretty good shape. We're going to be reviewing some of the content warning stuff for usefulness. We definitely want to keep that around for folks. But I think we just got really too much in the weeds with it last year. So we want to make sure that it's usable and readable in the programming guide. So we're going to be looking at that. Another exciting development is that we're looking at bringing karaoke back for this year. Part of the issue is following 2019, obviously COVID, we weren't having karaoke. It's also very labor intensive to run, so it's hard to get people who are willing to run that for 3 hours on Friday and Saturday and deal with all the technological stuff. But we luckily did have JC and I do Shiny New Anime, and someone actually came up to us after that panel, who was a longtime karaoke fan with her dad, and so she and her dad are looking to come back and help run it. So we're gonna set up some communications with them now that we're starting planning again. Hopefully we can get that back off the ground. And then going forward, hopefully kind of early in the convention cycle, I'm looking to setting up some meetings with what I'm calling shared stakeholders. Specifically what came up in our meeting was the tech department. Programming does work in a lot of cases alongside with tech, not just for our panel room event space, but also main programming and A&B contest. And I think with all of the new faces, it would be a good idea to just maybe do an exchange, sit down with them, discuss what our needs are, and make sure that we're all on the same page and kind of know what each of us is doing. So that's kind of my update for this time. No. Okay, I think that should be it. Any questions for me? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jesse, from programming. So yeah, I do want to encourage that if anybody from your department can come and do the announcement yourself, I think that's better, and people get to know who the heck you are to find you for later fun. But if we don't have any other questions, we don't have any other announcements, then I think we will do this, give it a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, we'll give 2-3 minutes. But I'm just gonna sit here looking bored.
Play the waiting game.
And then we'll close the part of the meeting at this. Yeah, we have a Dave on the move.
Oh, yes.
Oh.
Sign in, please. There is a QR code if you're in person here. Otherwise, there's the link on the. There should be a link multiple times in the chat there. Make sure you sign in so you can get your voting rights.
Those are important.
Yes.
So very important.
There are 2 ways to qualify. It is 60% of all of these staff planning meetings or 60% of all board meetings, second Tuesday of the month. Hitting 60% on either one gives you 1 vote. You don't get 2 votes if you do both.
You don't get to combine the counts together. It's 60% with 1 only.
It's not bad.
Okay.
And I think we will end the stream at this point. Thank you again for joining us, and see you next month. We probably should have picked that date before today, but we didn't. So check your email.
I just got a question that came in. How can you find the Anime Detour Discord? But I'm not sure which one they mean.
So there's two Discords. There's the staff Discord and there's a general Discord. The staff Discord, you can get the invite. If you apply to be staff, just
In the event name. Once you
Yeah,
get
yeah.
approved in event name,
Yeah.
then you get a link.
It sends you the link right away.
okay. So yeah, Eventity should automatically send that link. The general Discord. Honestly, I don't know how to get that one. I'm not doing that.
On it, yeah, good. That is a good.
And I abandoned it after I left social media. So.
It's there, but I don't know where it's been shared.
That is a good.
We could reshare that.
Yes, we'll reshare that one. At least if you're in the staff Discord, we'll put out the general Discord in there, and then once we get it together, we'll send it out through the Eventity emails too.
And that is a good reminder. We do have quite a few people who have applied through Eventney for staff this year, but if you haven't and you think you might be staff, please do get your application in as well.
Yeah, Eventity gives us the email lists and everything, so it's important for us to have.
Links, I put it in the chat.
There we go. Good job.
Thank you, Allie.
Which one?
The regular one. Yeah.
Should we
All
close
right.
the stream?
I think we can.
Yep.
All right.
And
All right, let the Hunger Games begin.
Smith.